All right, welcome out, Pirate fans, to another episode of the Pirates Cove podcast. It's Wednesday, and of course, we talk sports, Rockport-Fulton Pirates athletics. Right now, we've been talking football, we talk basketball, we talk volleyball, but tonight we're going to be talking football. Our Rockport-Fulton Pirates varsity football team will be traveling to Lavernia tomorrow to take on the Hondo Owls. It'll be a good one. We'll be there. And I've got a guest. It's one of our Rockport-Fulton Pirates football players, and I'll introduce him here in just a minute. But I do want to introduce my crew. We are in full effect. I've got the big T, Tony Pena. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good, man. Doing a lot better today. Just ready to get it going.
You sound a lot better today, man. That medicine's kicking in, doing you some good. Then we got the coach, Steve Cantu. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, I'm blessed, brother. I'm happy to be here.
And of course, we got the Z-Man, Johnny Zavala. Z-Man, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
All right. Like I said, we're going to be talking football. Our Pirates are in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs. It's always exciting. The season's been great for us, and now we get into the playoffs. Of course, the guest tonight is our quarterback, Ace Seibert. Ace, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Good.
Ace, first of all, thank you for spending some time. I know you guys have been busy down there preparing for the trip tomorrow, and then, of course, playing Hondo and your practice. But we wanted to we have some questions for you, of course, talking about the game. And we also want to talk about your performance. You had one heck of a performance last week at home when we played Port Isabel. So we kind of want to get your thoughts on that. And, of course, talk a little bit about the playoffs. So I'm going to pass it over to the guys and do a little Q&A with you. So, Johnny, I'll go to you first.
All right, welcome, Ace. What have you learned from the seniors this year going into the playoffs?
Just every day I practice. I mean, they motivate us. If we're not doing good, or if we're being lazy, they're always there to pick us up and get us to go.
Yeah, that's they've been there before, so they know what it is about, man. It's great that you've been up there. This is your second year and you're feeding off of this, So,
Right.
It's just you're just a leader yourself down there. Even though you're a sophomore, you're the captain pretty much of the whole team, and just getting little pieces here and there from your leaders up there, that goes a long ways. Just pick off of that, little by little,
Right.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever you learn, and
Sure.
they've been here before, they know what a winning team is and stuff like that. So
Yes.
I just had to bring that up, you being down there and them being seniors, that's a lot to look up to, and I'm pretty sure they rely on you too. So going on that, what is the difference in playing this year's playoff game compared to last year's? What do you see different? How do you feel? Talk about, a little bit about how you're feeling this year compared to last year. What's on your mind and stuff like that, and just talk a little bit about what's the difference between last year and this year.
Well, last year around right now, I would be really, really nervous, and I'm still pretty nervous right now, but I'm not as nervous. But last year, when I went to the game, I was like, oh, this is what a playoff is like. To actually be to be in the game and not just watching it from outside. It is completely different. But this year, I'm not gonna I just want to be like any other normal game. I just want to go out there, do what we're supposed to do, and just get the job done.
Yeah, I think we're all more confident in you this year. I'm not gonna lie, compared to last year. you've had a great season. You've matured a lot. Man, your passes have just been on point. I mean, you've always had that touch pass. This year, you could just see it, But I know this last game, it just popped in my head that against Port Isabel, you had a throw. I want to say it was to Ricky. I might be wrong, but I know it was down the sideline, and you put like a lot behind that ball. I mean, it was like you throwing a baseball, man. You just like threw it sharp, and it's almost like I heard like a little grunt. I didn't hear anything, but I never seen you like throw a ball like so sharp and so hard downfield like that. And I was all like, "Oh, this is something different," So, because we're so used to just you laying it up there and letting the guys go get it, and this one, man, you just like straight rocket to that, and man, that helps a lot, man. It just knows the timing off those defensive backs bad, but I really enjoy how you're matured this year, and we're very excited about you. Continue on throughout the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, Gabe.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Ace, before I go to coach, I just want to say, we're happy to have you. I mean, I tell you, we're all four of us here. We love sports. We love basketball, volleyball, but everybody here is pretty much football guy. And the last couple of years, we've run the slot T a lot. There's no, we ran heavy before we passed. So as you were coming up, we kind of knew that we were going to start passing a little. And man, watching you from last year, we getting the yards that you did as a freshman, and then that ceiling, how high it is, and where you're going to get this year, and then you still got 2 more years. It's exciting to see that our quarterback and what you're going to do from here until you graduate, right? But this year, it's been great. You look very comfortable from the beginning of the season to the Port Isabel game. We've thrown a lot. We had, of course, Coach Seibert on, and he said we were going to be throwing a little bit more this year. And every game, you just seem to be getting more comfortable. There's a good connection with you and the guys. It's just got a lot better. So I'm going to ask you real quick to talk about that. How comfortable have you felt back there with every game leading into the playoffs?
Like you said, just like every other game, I get more and more comfortable, and that's just because of trust with the guys, and they do a really good job of up front, so that makes me more calm, and like the more I understand like the blocking and like the way that they're doing it, that makes me feel better, because that way I know like he's gonna be here and he's blocking him and that type of stuff like that.
I also heard you got wheels. They've told me, hey man, Ace can run. Now we haven't seen a lot of that, you taking off and running. A couple of times we had a season, but some of the guys that have coached you, when you were in youth and have watched you since you were a kid, say, man, he's got some wheels, man. When they let him loose, they're gonna have to. That's gonna be another threat they're gonna have to worry about. So I don't know. We'll see if they let you loose during the playoffs or next year. But I heard you can run as well. So to me, that's another threat, man. We've seen a little bit of it, not too much, but we'll see what Coach Seibert has in store for the playoffs. But I'm gonna pass it over to the coach Tom. The coach Steve. He's got some questions for you.
Hey, first and foremost, Ace, welcome to the podcast, and I'm sure you had a busy day with practice, and then of course the team dinner. I knew you guys were all out there at the team dinner and that function, and then had to rush home to be a part of the podcast. So we appreciate your time, and thank you a whole lot for it. I'm going to run off a little bit of your numbers. I'm going to brag on you a little bit. We're so proud of the performance you had this year. And all the numbers you thrown up. I seen it in the Caller Times. You're ranked 4th in the area with your stats, and that's a great accomplishment for a sophomore. Because I look down that list and I see a bunch of seniors, a bunch of upperclassmen. So it's special, and it's exciting to know that we're going to have you for 2 more years, and you're only going to get better each and every year. So Pirates football is excited, and we're extremely behind you, and we know that even these stats, as phenomenal as they are, they're only going to go up from here. So it makes us excited, about Pirate football for the future. So Ace Seibert had an excellent year. He had 71 completions on 126 attempts, passing for 56%. He also had 28 touchdowns and only 4 picks, which I think is big, right? The 4 interceptions is what really jumps out at you. As much as we throw the ball, to being able to be under control enough to keep those interceptions down, because I mean there's a lot of those guys that are up on that chart that they've thrown a lot of picks. You're really careful with the ball and your placement, and it helped you get to 1,700 yards passing. So that's extremely awesome, and not even just for your age. I'm just talking about being a high school player, period. So congratulations on a great season thus far.
Yes, sir,
And yes, sir. And you've done an amazing job, and it's been a blessing to be able to watch you this season. So I got one question for you, Ace, and it was kind of brought up on the podcast when we were airing the Port Isabel game. We're up there commentating, and then we had a lot of people, a lot of fans come in, and we had over 2,400 viewers. Yeah. So we're really starting to grow, and the fan base is, yeah. So, and the fan base is really getting behind you guys, and they're excited. They're texting everybody and getting a hold of Gabriel, trying to make sure that we're going to stream games. So the town of Rockport is hungry, for football, and they're out there supporting you, via live stream. But anyway, one of the questions that came up, and I believe it might have been one of your family members, if I'm not mistaken, I did read a last name and it said Seibert, but they brought up something and I wasn't too sure when I read it. They said something about 28 touchdowns and being a personal record for your father, I believe. Can you elaborate on that? Is that what was going on? Was that true what I read?
Yes, sir. My dad, he had his record was 28, and then this last game I tied it.
Okay. Hey, did you know that going into the game that you were close? You had no idea.
I had no clue.
You had no idea. Because once I read it, let me tell you something funny. Once I read it, and then we were driving late in the game. If you remember, we had it. We were running the ball, but we had a chance. We were down there. I was like, let him throw it. Let him throw it. You know what I'm saying? I was really
wanting the whole second half.
Yeah, that's what I saw. But so I was really, once I read that, I was like, man, let him have it, coach. And I'm sure Coach Seibert
we didn't even know. We had no idea.
I'm sure Coach Seibert didn't know either. But nonetheless, man, that was awesome. I thought that was pretty cool that you were able to, and that's what's crazy about these that last game is that you had 5 touchdown passes that game, which is phenomenal, right? And I think you only had a couple of incompletions for the entire game. So that was phenomenal in itself. But it's just kind of crazy how that came up, and then we read it and I was excited for it. I was like, man, let them throw it. But obviously they didn't, you guys didn't know. Your dad probably would have let you broke the record had he known.
He probably would have
let you. Yeah, but that's cool, man. We're excited for you, man. Like I said, that's something that you guys can share now. A regular season. I would want to know, maybe you can ask him what he did after that regular season, how many he had for, if that season that your dad had went up against a postseason, what I'm saying? Maybe you can set your goal for that. So if he has a total number, maybe like a 32 or something like that, man, tell him I want it, Dad. I want to get it. You know what I'm saying? Turn me loose. But I just thought I wanted to share that with everybody. I thought that was pretty cool that you guys share that stat. And what I'm saying, we're all excited for you, Ace. We're 100% behind you. I've really enjoyed watching you play this year and watching you blossom to the great young man and the great leader of this team that you truly are.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Gabe.
T, you're up.
All right. How's it going, Ace?
Not too bad.
All right. Yeah, I watched this kid in youth, and he was a beast back then, and he's a beast now. So, again, I don't want to repeat everything everyone said, but just congratulations on the season that you had so far. But season's not over. So,
Nah, I hope it's not close to being over. That part doesn't matter now. It's all about now.
yep, yep. Okay, so first thing I wanted to ask kind of has to do with all the stats. Did you set a personal goal for yourself, touchdown wise and passing yards? I mean, I mean, you almost doubled last season. I mean, last season you threw for over 900, and this season you're at 17. So, uh, did you just want to go out there and play, or did you set yourself some goal?
I didn't have a goal. I just really want to do whatever gets us in the end zone. Like if we have to run the ball the whole game, or if we have to pass the ball the whole game, it doesn't make a difference to me. But I don't really watch my stats. Um, it's more about just getting the win to me.
There you
Awesome,
go.
awesome. Well, that's a great answer. That's a very very mature answer. Uh, um. So the next question I have, and again, and we talk about this off camera or off air, because I don't like to get too ahead of myself. But all four of us here believe that Rockport will beat Hondo. Not sure how hard Hondo will come for Rockport, and if they make it a game or not. But we're all pretty confident that Rockport will beat Hondo tomorrow. Um, but I like to think further than that, and I know your dad is against looking into 2 weeks away. I know he's all about the game at sight, but what would you say y'all have to accomplish? Um, going into this game to be prepared for the next game, because the next game is the game that we believe will be the toughest game so far this season versus the number 8 Cuero Gobblers. What do you think has to happen in this game? You know, what do you need to fix on? What do you need to fix? What do you need to work on? Or what do you just need to get better at that you're already doing well?
Um, well, we can always get better everywhere, but the one main goal that I think is to when we go in this game, like most of our games, like the offense will do good and the defense will do bad, or the defense will do good and then the offense will do bad. I think we want to have like a really, we want to both just have a really good game. So so that way next week we go in real confident.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, playing each quarter, playing even on both sides of the ball. That makes a whole lot of sense. And so I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that y'all noticed that because we noticed that, when the defense shuts the team out, the offense scores 24 points. You know what I mean? And I don't know how much of the podcast you watch, but we're greedy over here at the Pirate Cove. We like to see 50 and 60 point games. So when Rockport only scores 35 or 24, we're like, what happened? You know what I mean? Even though the other team only got six, it kind of freaks us out a little bit. So,
Yeah.
but we know that's not going to happen every game. We understand that. But absolutely. So I'm glad that you all noticed that, and that's something that y'all want to work on. And you're absolutely right. This is exactly that kind of game that y'all need to go into and execute both on offense and defense and also on special teams because we
Yes.
talked a lot about that about giving up so many yards on kickoff. I mean, we're giving up too many yards on kickoff right now. Um, so yeah, absolutely, and getting and taking care of those things will get us ready for the next game, and that's what we want to look forward to. Because again, I hate to get ahead and downplay Hondo because anything could happen. We've seen
Right.
crazier things, but we're pretty confident that y'all are gonna win this game. But it's next week that I
Yeah,
think will pose a real challenge. So great answers. And again, thanks for being with us,
yes,
Ace.
sir. Yes, sir, for sure.
That's all I got, Gabe.
Hey
Thank you.
Ace, talk a little bit about practice this week. How the guys feeling? How are you feeling? How was practice? It was a short week. I can't remember playing a Thursday game. I don't know, maybe I did one last year, but it's been a while.
Yeah,
So
I haven't.
yeah,
I've never played a game on
Thursday.
Thursdays, so it's gonna be a little weird.
Hey Ace, do you think that'll? I mean, usually Friday nights, right? You're not used to coming back late and having to go to school the next day. Talk a little bit about practice this week. It was a short week. I mean, you guys still
Mhm.
had team dinner. Do you talk about the feeling? Are the guys pumped? Is playing on Thursday night going to be that big of a difference, or is it just like another weekly game that we're just going to take on and win?
Well, hopefully we do win. Hopefully we do take it on and win. But the as far as playing on Thursday, and it was a short week, but I think that we all know that we're not going to be getting to school that soon on Friday. I think we might all take first period off or something like that. I might sleep
Yeah,
in or
that'd be
something.
good.
But no, this week's practice has been nice. Shout out to the JV because they moved up. So when we do scout team and stuff like that, we know we no longer have to run it, and that's on the JV now. So that makes practice a little more easier. So now we all get to beat up on them and
There you
not each
go.
other.
That's what I wanted to hear. We get to beat up on them.
Yeah, and not yeah, because before it was like our own it was our own guys like, well, I don't want to hurt him because he has to play on the defense side of the ball, and we don't really want to hurt him. We don't want to
Mhm.
hurt this offensive guys, but now I mean we're not trying to hurt them or anything, but it does make it nicer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Ace, I'll ask you another question. We're not going to keep you much longer. We know you've had a long day, and we want to get you out of here. The traveling, we always talk to people that come on the traveling. You got a 2.5 hour drive. I know we did a couple of them to the valley this year. What's your thoughts? Do you when you get out there, is there a bigger? I guess I'll compare it. The drive to Sinton or to Corpus, that's just maybe about 35, 40 minutes versus a 2.5 hours. Is there a big difference when it's a longer, or do you guys just see it? It's just another road game, no matter how long far we got to go.
Uh,
No big difference.
oh, we kind of see it. I mean, I kind of like the road games because you feel like you're in college or it's just like some big game. So that's kind of cool. But and we get out of school a little early, so that's always good. But um, I don't think we, I don't think it makes that big a difference. And now that we know we're in the playoffs, so there'll be a bunch of people there. So I always think that's pretty cool. And it doesn't really bother me much. And I don't think it really bothers the guys either.
Oh, that's great. And I'll say this: we had Coach Seibert on, and we're planning. We've already got him on our calendar for next week. Next Wednesday, he's marked in. We're just kind of waiting to get the victory, right? We don't want to go too ahead of ourselves, but his name's already on our calendar. If we win, we're definitely gonna be sending him an invite to bring him on next Wednesday. But I guess my question to you would be, we'll leave it. I'll leave it for Coach Seibert instead. But I do want to thank you, Ace, for coming out. I mean, I think you're having a great season. And like I said, as far as Pirate fans go, we're excited. I was excited last year when you came because I knew we were going to be able to do a lot of different things. We're going to kind of open up the offense, and It's been great from last year to this year to watch your growth, watch what you're doing, and then still having 2 more years. It's exciting to see, where you're going to end up. And it seems like you've got talent around you. We look at the receivers that are around you for the next 2 years, who's coming back, what we've got in the JV and the freshmen, man, it looks good. And I've always said we've got good coaches here. Since Coach Seibert's been here, man, we've been to playoffs every year. So it's exciting. And I know this is what I was going to tell you when we had your dad on the first time. We talked about the third round of the playoffs. He's been to the third round. I knew what he had done here, and then he kind of elaborated a little bit about where he had coached before and how it's also happened. So he said, "Man, we're pushing to get out of the third round, and this is a good opportunity."
Yeah, well, we don't want to be. We want to go more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we've got the team to do it this year. But I'll tell you this, Ace, and we said this on the podcast. The teams in this region, man, they're tough this year than they have in the past. I mean, you got Rockport, Sinton, Wimberley, Navarro, Cuero's now in the mix. Of course, you still got Navasota, and I know you know about Navasota. Played them last year. Smithville, they're not quite as good as they were last year, but they're still there. So whoever gets out of this district or out of this region, they've earned it. I do got one more question for you, Ace, and I'll ask it. I was going to wait, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway. Your game against Sinton, it's our only loss of the season. How do you think that game prepared you? Because that's one of the best games I've seen. Johnny played in a game that back when he was in school, where we played Sinton here in Rockport. It was standing room only. I mean, it was packed, and we tied 7-7. It was just a great game. There was no overtime, but this was another great game by two great teams. Unfortunately, we came out a touchdown short. But what did that game teach you specifically, and how did that game help you with what you saw against a good Sinton defense that you think will prepare you for Hondo and teams that you'll be playing in the second, third, and possibly in the fourth round?
For particular me, the first half of that game, I didn't really come out how I wanted to. The second half, I thought I did all right, but just for the upcoming games, my goal is just not to have the first bad half. I would like to eliminate that. I didn't really like that very much, but for team wise, I think we learned a lot. Just in the way from when we watched film, we got to see what we need to work on and what we don't need to work. What we're good at, and what we do need to work on. But I have a theory in my head, and this is not saying that I wanted to lose a Sinton game because I wanted to win the Sinton game with all of my heart. It made me very mad that we didn't win. But there was a Rockport team that went undefeated, I think. I don't know what team it was, but I don't know like what year it was, but there was one year that they went undefeated, and
First round.
they upset Cal Allen, I think, and they had like a really big win against them, but later in the playoffs they lost to them, and so our goal is we want to get to the fourth round, and we hope they're there, and we're going to be in this time. We're going to go on.
So you would like to meet Sinton again, huh?
Yes, I would very much like that, very badly.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. We've also had your mom on the podcast before the football season. We
You
actually
have my
had
mom
her.
on the podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had your mom on before. We
Y'all are
had
dangerous.
Coach
Y'all playing with
Seibert,
fire.
and she basically said on the podcast that every year she said, I hope I get it right, but I think she said something to the effect of every year I tell Jay for my birthday I just want to be Sinton. That's all I want to do. So. And I'm sure that Coach Seibert tries, and he's beaten them sitting. It's not like his time here. He has won at times, and then of course it's two teams that are great. They have great programs, and it's good for the fans, right, to be able to see it. It's just good competition, and this year was no different. Of course, coming out with a loss, but hey, we could have easily won that game. It took the last pass of the game, 3 seconds left to beat a good Rockport team. So I would share the same thought, Ace. I would love to play Sinton again for the region in the region, and that could happen. So I'm going to pass it over to the guys, see if they've got anything they want to add, Ace, before I give you the final word. Johnny, anything you want to add before we call it a night and let Ace out?
Nah, man, just go out there and have fun, dude. Just get out there, have fun, do your thing. Everything will come together. Everything will come together, buddy. Just good luck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, sir.
Coach?
Hey, Ace, I just want to say, hey, I like that theory. I like that thought process. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we could wish it into truth, right? Hopefully that can come to pass. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome, and that would be the icing on the cake for the seniors. It'd be so special for those guys. You know what I'm saying? If it happened, you know what I'm saying, to come back and win that game. That would be, and obviously, you know, if we got that win, we'd be looking to go forward. But that would, I mean, definitely feel to me like a state championship, you know, to replay that game and have them win deeper in the playoffs, because that would be fourth round, right? So that would be getting out of third. So that'd be awesome. Hey, from your lips to God's ears, man. That's what I hope. So hey, good luck, man. Good luck tomorrow, man. Play loose, play free. Do what Ace Seibert does. You know what I'm saying? Just do you, be you, man. Just relax and everything will be fine, man. So we'll be out there and we'll be cheering for you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Big T.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, just good luck to you and the team, and you know, Johnny said it right. You know, can't go in there with butterflies and overthinking it. Just it's all about having fun. It's all about doing what you already know how to do. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter who's on the field. You know what I mean? It's 11 on 11. It's even. You know what I mean? But you just got to go out there and be the tougher and badder dudes, and we seen y'all do that. So just, I mean, just go out there and have fun and win.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just go out there and have some fun. And I know you guys are going to do your thing. Let me see. Ace, I believe we are going to stream the game live. We were trying all week. And then I just got a call before we came on the podcast that we got it. So yeah, we'll be taking off a little early. Oh, Johnny and I will be driving up a little early to set up. So as far as I know of right now, I didn't get much information, but I know that I was told that we are going to stream. So we're going to get up there and do our thing. We know you guys are going to do your thing. Just know that the Pirates Cove backs you and Rockport-Fulton Pirates 100%. Quarterback, Rockport-Fulton Pirates, sophomore quarterback, Ace Seibert, here to join us on the podcast. Ace, thank you very much. You've had a great season, man, and we look to get the win tomorrow, man. So from us to you, man, good luck, and we'll see you after the game, man. We'll be looking to get an interview from you.
All right, yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Right. So have a good night.
Right,
get a good night's sleep, man, and safe travels up there, brother.
Yes, sir.
Good night, Ace.
Night.
That was our quarterback, Ace Seibert. You know, of course, that won't be the last time you'll see him on the podcast. He plays all the sports. We'll have him in basketball. He'll be playing baseball. I don't know if he does track, but I know he does baseball and he does basketball. So, listen, guys, it's been great interviewing him. You know, he's still very young. I think a lot of times we look at his yardage and the what he's done, but he's still in the process of learning. He's still a very young man, still trying to learn the speed and stuff. So I think he's ahead, guys, of where he's going to be. And John Chupi, we had him on at the beginning, and he said that by the time you see him this year to his senior year, he said you're gonna be surprised. They see this guy every day. They see his work ethic. They see what he puts in. So when you get football players telling you this kid's gonna be special, I think it's gonna be special. We see it every Friday night on the football field. So it's exciting. I'm glad we're able to get him on. I know he was busy. And he's got to prepare for his playoff game tomorrow, guys. So let's take a little 5-minute break. We're going to jump from the Pirates Cove over to the Gridiron 64 podcast in 5 minutes. And we've got 20 or 21 games that we're going to be previewing for the first round of the playoffs. So take a little 5-minute break, guys, and we'll come back to start the Pirates, the Gridiron 64.